Hey, good Sunday morning, everyone. Real quick, this is really interesting. I wanted to break this down real quick, coming from Acts chapter 9, and I just want to look at verses 3 through 5, and it's dealing with Paul, by the way. It's Saul. And as he journeyed, he came near Damascus, and suddenly there shined round about him a light from heaven. Verse 4, and he fell to the earth, and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? Verse 5, and he said, Who art thou, Lord? And the Lord said, I am Jesus whom thou persecutest. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. So let me say this real quick. The thing about it is this, that I'm trying to get to the point, and I don't want to say it, take too long to say it or make the point. But here's the thing. When you look at the Old Testament, it uses the title God, dealing with Abraham, Moses, Ezekiel, Isaiah, David, and all the rest of the characters. And God himself, Almighty, who represents the Father figure, is talking and dealing with his people, Israel and all of them, Jerusalem. Then as you get to the New Testament here, and you get to the book of Acts, all the way past the Gospels, where the Lord himself, after he had died and resurrected and everything, the beginning of Acts chapter 1 is when, if I'm not mistaken, I forgot if Jesus was getting ready to go back to heaven, ascend, or if he was already there. But the point is this, that when it came to Acts chapter 9, the Lord was back on the throne, because that's when it mentioned that a light from heaven had shone. And Saul was like, Who art thou, Lord? And I thought to myself this morning, I was like, that's interesting how he didn't even know who that was. And he sat there and used the title of the word Lord. But then Jesus responded and said, Saul, Saul, why dost thou persecutest thou me? I am Jesus, whom thou persecuted. And he was referring to Saul killing all these different Jews and other people, all the other stuff he did in the previous chapters. So what I'm just trying to say here, and I thank you, God, by the way, because it's already 2.5 minutes. I summed it up. I got to the point real quick. But a lot of people need to understand there's one God. God himself, like when in Acts chapter 9 there, Jesus was back on the throne, just like the Old Testament, when the Lord spoke to Moses and all the other characters. That's the whole point about it. But before that, when Jesus was still here for 33 years on earth, and he died and everything, that was God in the flesh, coming to dwell with his people, to come and save. Somebody had to die, offer themselves a sacrifice for man's sins. But after that, Jesus went back on the throne, and he ascended into heaven at the right hand of the Father. So what I'm trying to say is that that's the same God that was in the Old Testament. That's the same God who they say the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The same God, the God of Israel, the God of Nazareth, the God of Galilee and Bethlehem. That's what I'm trying to say, because a lot of people think that God represents somebody and the Lord is somebody else. No, God and Lord are just titles, but they point to the same person. You can use all these different titles, Elohim, Yahweh, Yahshua, Joshua, Emmanuel. They mean different things, or they talk their different languages like Hebrew, Greek, Aramaic, English, or what's that? I said Aramaic, Greek, Latin, Hebrew, or Greek, or English. But the whole point is that they all mean the same thing, just different words or different languages. And I'm saying it because a lot of people, we separate God and Jesus, and God is a title and Jesus is God's name. Just like Jesus means God is going to save his people. It states that in Matthew chapter 1, verse 21. And then verse 23 of Matthew 1 says that he was given the name Emmanuel, which means God with us, God with his people. So that's all I quickly wanted to just say Other than that, it's a pretty good day outside. I'm glad the sun isn't out too much. Nice and breezy. But other than that, you all be blessed. Take care. Enjoy your weekend. And of course, it's already going to be Monday again here soon, unfortunately. But to God be the glory. You all take it easy and have a great day.